Generic types. Generic generics in TypeScript, basically it helps us to create reusable components or functions or classes, okay, which can work with any data types while maintaining the data type safety. So instead of hard coding specific data types, what we can do is, or what generics enables us to do is, it enables us to create flexible reusable code that can work with multiple types without losing type checking, right? So basically, in how generics is written is, basically it is represented by either single letter like T or U or V, etc., or mostly it's better to use the descriptive names like item types, return type, right? For example, I have a type. So for generics, suppose I have a user, okay, type, I have a user, okay, let me make user, right? And it has got ID, uh, number, and name, string. So in this type of a user, ID is a number, or we can also set it as a string, right? So it can be either number or it can be string, right? In this type annotation, in this type annotation, basically user has a ID which can be either number or string. We don't know, we absolutely don't know, either it's going to be string or number, okay? But with the help of generics, type user info, right? With the help of generics, if I do type, suppose if I do type id, type id, right? Type id equals to, and I give the id as type id and name as string. So now what's gonna happen is, according to the users, suppose I have a user, const user, right? Const user, and it has got object id1 and name zone. Now I know the user has id with a number, the id is a number in this case, right? In this case, if I pass const user2, now it will give us an id as a string. So id as a string, right? Id as a string. If I pass, if I pass user info and right, and number in it, then the user, the object user must have that id is a number. So if I pass this as a string, it's gonna throw me a error, right? Throw me an error. So this, what generic type has helped us to do is it 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 basically created help us to create users with different types, right? Different types for id, for id, while keeping the rest of the structure consistent, right? So the first thing is using type id as a generic. TypeScript ensured that type of the id is consistent with the type specified when declaring the user. For example, you cannot pass a number to the user string, user info string, or vice versa. Another is flexibility. With generics, what we can do, we are possible. We have possibility is user type for both users with numerics ID, user number, and string based IDs, user info string, without writing separate types for each case, right? So, and also they can be reusable. Hmm? So this is generics is very powerful tool for creating reusable and flexible code, especially when dealing with function classes or types that can work with a variety of data types. So by using placeholders like this type ID, we can write code that adapts to different data types without losing the benefits of type checking, right? So it needs a number, right? And if I do user info string, then yes, it needs it got string, right? Const user 3, right? And user id 1, name 1. So it's not throwing any error. It can be either number or a string. If I pass here a string, it will throw me an error, right? That's the case.